Whether cruising the strip in a 57 Chevy or taking the family on a vacation in a 71 Oldsmobile Vista Cruiser, you need to tune in to Classic Cars with Steve Ronaldo and Jim Weber every Saturday from 8 to 9 a.m. on americaswebradio.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the americasbroadcastnetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
It is 1 o'clock and we are in Atlanta, Georgia, and this is
Let's Talk Venezuelans.
Hey, good afternoon, boss. How you been?
Good.
Brett, how you been?
Doing good.
Doing good. What a week, isn't it? Whoa. This is something heavy, because we saw, as we commented last week, that there is two United States in this moment. Mm-hmm. We have the United States of President Trump and Elon Musk and people who wants to go to Mars and the moon and want to make America great again, to be the number one nation as we always been for the last 150 years. Mm-hmm. And we have another United States that comes from the lack of education and lack of conscious of history.
That's right.
The first thing that we have to blame is the education system. It goes from kindergarten all the way to universities.
Yes.
Okay? And during this week, Rutgers University in New Jersey sent us a letter, a beautiful letter in a FedEx envelope. And what did they say?
Okay, it is the University of Chicago.
Yeah, but
Chicago, and then Rutgers Center for American Women and Politics.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, they sent me a letter because I am a candidate.
Uh-huh.
Right? And then how many questions they asked? Like a 10 question or 20 questions?
10 questions.
10 questions.
Mm-hmm.
Which three questions got my attention. Yeah, because as a woman, I don't know. I mean, we got so many
issues
so many that we can talk about and we can try to resolve, right? And they're just distracted with when you have 10 questions and you have 3 questions, that
it's 70% of the 30% of the questions.
Yeah,
is about sexuality. Read the questions.
Okay, one question is, do you identify as a transgender? What do you got to do? Look, it says here, Center for American Women and Politics. You know, dear Mrs. Cruz. Okay, so the other question, what is your current gender identity? So
Doing.
if you don't answer, let's say if you answer yes, I am a transgender, and then they keep on pondering in this gender now because they want to know what kind of gender you are identified with. It's not only transgender, but they're giving you woman, man, non-binary, other, please specify.
And God created you man and woman. Okay, it's sex, not gender.
Okay.
And when you have a university and you have the NORC at the University of Chicago and the Rutgers University doing a questionnaire with these 3 kind of questions.
Okay,
you said what's going on? What's the third one?
The third question is, hold on to your chair, please, okay? Which of the following best describe you? Heterosexual or straight, gay, lesbian, or homosexual, bisexual, other, please specify, and then they give you another option, prefer not to say. But they did not even give you an option on the top, prefer not to say, and the second one, prefer not to say. So when a university
When
an
two
institution.
universities.
When two universities right here.
Chicago and Rutgers.
Okay? When they exercise a survey, because this is like a survey, just 30% is focused in sex. This is the way that I see it. Okay, tell me, what do you think of people doing with their front part and the back part? I mean, there is other things that we can be talking about, and we
Who's
can.
paying for this?
We the people with our taxes, because all these universities have grants from the government, from the federal government, paid by the money that taxpayers are paying. So do you know it's not only incredible, but this is the kind of reflection that brought us the destruction of Jefferson statue on Portland, Oregon.
Yes.
One of the fathers of this nation and the third president of the United States of America,
Who got 6 kids.
with a black woman,
A black, beautiful
woman.
He loved that woman with his heart, and he got 6 kids with her. And
It was one
Americans-
of the most beautiful love stories of this
Nation.
country, of this nation, and none of the film productions company, none of them did a movie about
They are
that.
not going to talk about that.
They don't
because
talk
it
about
doesn't
that.
it doesn't.
It doesn't fit the script.
The
narrative.
The narrative.
Okay.
So we, the parents who are sending our children to these universities, right? The University of Chicago, NORC at the University of Chicago, and the Rutgers.
Rutgers
Okay.
University in
In
New Jersey.
New Jersey and New Brunswick, New Jersey. So, anyways, parents are spending so much money sending their kids to these universities, and then being brainwashed. You know, and this is when I agree. At this moment in history, at this point, parents need to start taking decision where their kids are going to school.
You know, I think I've said it before on this show. I'm not sure, but I think I have. This started in the 50s, and it started with Khrushchev. You remember Khrushchev?
Yes.
And him beating his shoe on the UN table and saying, we're going to take the United States. You don't have to worry about missiles. We're going to take you from inside. We're going to start with universities. We're going to change the books, and they have.
Yes.
And they've taught our professors who teach other people how to teach in our high schools and middle schools, and they teach communism.
Yes.
And I was talking, as I mentioned, I was talking to a doctor Tuesday, and we were talking about Venezuela and the fact that he had to leave because he said I'm a capitalist, and he had a nice clinic. He and his wife, she was a ear, nose, and throat doctor, and he was a surgeon. And he said, I had to leave because the government was taking over our clinic. And so we're going to have him on at some point. But, this is what, and I made the point with him. I said, well, Venezuela has gone through what the U.S. is going through right now. And he said, oh, yeah. He said, I see it every day and what's happening. And,
And the main point is that all this happens because the people is either ignorant or they forget about the rich history of this nation. Okay. By the way, next week we'll have a new program that talks exactly about this issue, the history that is not taught at school. And what's the name of the guy? Do you remember the name of the host of that program?
no, I don't.
You don't, not yet. Okay,
Stephen
Mr. Stevens.
Mr. Steve.
Queensberry or something.
Queensberry.
Like that.
Okay.
But
But the
anyway.
thing is that from next week, we will have an America's Web Radio special program, a weekly program. It's an hour program. Okay, a 60 minutes program with talking about the forgotten stories of American history, because I'm so concerned. Let me explain you why. My daughter just graduated of high school, and when I review her history book, World War I was on the only 1 page, and World War II was 3 pages. How can you explain the world today without knowing about World War I, that is this resurgence of communism, okay, and World War II, that is the fight against socialism and communism and the and the consequences of the Cold War, and nobody knows about this. And if you don't know about this, if you don't know how the movement of Antifa was created and by whom and why, you cannot explain what these guys that right now destroy Washington the day of the inauguration of President Trump on January 20, 2017.
The streets
yes,
of Washington, the
businesses. Do you remember?
Yeah.
It's the same people, and it's the same people that destroy all the cities, and including Atlanta. Okay, we went to the downtown Atlanta on Sunday, and I took pictures about that because we want to make a firm position that the First Amendment gives you the right to protest and to bring your grievance against anything on the government. But one thing is bring your grievances, and other thing is destroy public and private property, bringing us anarchy. Because the next step of anarchy is communism.
It's exactly what happened in Venezuela.
Exactly the same modus operandi. Yes,
it's the same strategy, the same mentality, but in a different language.
Yes,
that's all.
That's it.
Only different language.
It's in English. That's it.
Like we said last time, these Antifa are being backed up with other groups, and those groups came from Chile, from Bolivia. I'm going to say the name so everybody can understand why these Antifa are so strong. They are being backed up by Chilean young people, groups, Bolivians, Venezuelans,
training by Cubans and Venezuelans.
Venezuelans, Cubans, Central Americans like MS-13 from El Salvador, Nicaragua, Honduras, Guatemala, Mexico. Don't forget Mexico, because they met in Mexico.
In Puebla.
The Puebla group. They met in Mexico City.
I don't see yet a letter of protest of the U.S. government against President of Argentina and the Vice Chancellor of Mexico of Relations of Mexico. Against their participation on the Puebla group, where Mr. Zapatero says that they want to governanza. So that means they want to have.
Let us know. Tell us. No. Let us know. No. Tell us.
Tell us what we have to do with our life and our liberties.
Yeah, they want to govern us. That's the whole idea.
Okay. Well, we will be back after these messages.
Hello, I'm Dr. Mike Karuchak. Have you ever wondered what doctors talk about amongst themselves? If you do, join us on the Doctor's Lounge and hear the doctors' conversations amongst themselves. Join me and my co-host, Dr. Hal Schertz, every Thursday morning, 8 to 9 a.m.
More and more.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
I mean,
I'll give you the name. I'm giving the name and I'm giving how this all is being played.
Oh, this is, you know.
Tell them the whole group.
Perhaps you are struggling to cope with the disease of addiction. If not, you probably know a family member or friend that needs help in battling the cravings and the personal and professional damage done by the effects of drugs or alcohol. Get a pen and paper and be ready to write down the following. These are the issues that the trained staff at the Atlanta Healing Center address and treat every day. Their doctors and counselors with over 40 years of practice in the field of addiction can treat the suffering individual in a thoughtful, compassionate, and experienced manner and guide him or her along the path to recovery. So call 770-696-9862 and speak to a knowledgeable staff member about how you or your loved one can be helped to enjoy a better and healthier life. More information is also available on the website at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
Ready? Run, Antifas, run!
Okay, so I was saying these groups came from Central America, from South America. Groups are coming from, they already been here from Somalia, from Iran, from Palestine, groups from Syria, especially those refugees, okay?
Yes.
The caravan people from caravan, and those Chinese too. So all of them are backing these groups who are doing what we call breaking down the business and the economic part of the black communities in America.
Yes,
Because
disrupt the
as
economy.
As this more than disrupting, this is destroying their
Yes.
livelihood.
First they come with the COVID-19, and now they come with the disruption, as you said.
Look, the COVID-19 was placed to break down and to break in pieces the economy of the United States, the whites. But it didn't work out because the job improvement it generated during the 2 months or 3 months of COVID-19 went to 5 something million. You know, Americans generated job during the crisis.
Yes.
So they say, what the heck is going on with these Americans? How can we beat them? How can we defeat them? So they set up the situation where now the anarchists and the Antifas are generating the chaos and disrupting and destroying the most vulnerable society in America, which are the minorities and the black communities.
Definitely.
They are breaking completely their backbone. There's family who've been lost in 1 hour. They lost their business in 1 hour. In less than an hour, they lost their business.
They lost their business. Not only they lost their business, they lost the fruits of a whole
20 years of job. So they completely attack our most vulnerable citizens in America, and we as an American have a responsibility to answer back and defend them. That's what we have to do.
Do you understand the point that these people, these families that work hard all the time, pay taxes, and suddenly
high taxes
from
high taxes because they are in a Democratic area, and you know Democrats always raise taxes,
and they pass from middle class paying their taxes, paying their mortgages, paying everything, and suddenly they pass to be homeless
back again. You know, they send them back to what we call slavery. They send them back what we call plantation. Why? Because those people, by losing their houses, losing their money, right, losing their income, losing their everything, what do you think, how do you think they're going to survive? They're going to go back to the system and ask for help. What is that help, David? Welfare. What else? Plan, how do they call here? Plan
8.
Plan A?
Yeah.
Okay. Medical dependency on Obamacare. So these people who are coming from other countries, they plan it out there. And I'm talking about Latinos countries. And I am saying it because I am Latina. So nobody can tell me I am a white supremacist. Okay? I am saying what's going on. They plotted how to come and submit us as a nation by using the black and the vulnerable communities and putting these people back to the plantation mentality. What is the plantation mentality? Depending on the government, I give you enough for you to survive, but not enough for you to make a difference on yourself, on your family, and the whole community. You're gonna see, David, that area of Atlanta where the Wendy store was burned down, you're gonna see how the prices on those houses gonna start going like this. Going down.
They're going down.
They're gonna start going down. A lot of people are gonna be losing.
I just talked to a real estate broker. He's specialized in commercial real estate. And I told him, listen, when this kind of thing happens, the neighborhood got into a red zone, qualify as a red zone.
Yes.
Okay? Wendy's franchise, it's an investment of almost $1 million. Almost $1 million. And 45 families lives on that income. 45 families that lives around that Wendy's. There is no people that lives in the other side of the city that work there. There is people who work who are going up, walking by to their job. Okay, so 45 families on that area lost their income. Third, because it's a red zone, nobody wants to invest money on other businesses in that area. So the price of the property of the real estate, the commercial real estate, is going down, cave in. Okay, and with that, when you have the real estate, the commercial real estate going down, immediately it's like a train. The families, the houses, the housing in the area goes down. Okay, the question is, when this kind of thing happens,
who is the beneficiary?
Who is the one who benefits on that action? That's the question. To be or not to be. That is the question. I know that's Shakespeare. Okay.
No, so, but because I am coming from the business part, because I have a degree in business administration, and then I have medical administration business degree too. So when you see and you ask yourself, okay, who's gonna be the benefit after all this destruction? So, and then you find out that behind these groups are being financed by George Soros. I'm being financed by the Democrats. I'm being financed for those terrorist countries from those countries who hate America and send these kids. I'm talking about youngsters, right? Very young people. They came through the airplane legally with visa, and others came through the caravans illegally. Okay, and then you ask question. Okay, what is George Soros wants to do with Atlanta, with that specific area? Is he ready to send his minions to buy the area little by little and start building nice, fancy apartments and gentrification? Doing what they call the gentrification is getting rid of poor people who are living in that area. This is a center area in Atlanta.
Was that like Midtown?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, well, I have a stepdaughter and her husband that live there that just put $500,000 in their house.
You see?
Redoing it.
So, and then you ask a question. Okay, they are complaining because they are taking us out of this area. But then you figure out, okay, George Soros. The same thing happened in Miami. I remember 25 to 37 years ago in Bayside area.
Liberty City.
That's Liberty.
That's Liberty City.
Okay, people went over there buy houses. Of course, that was a different procedure because they went and buy those little houses, very small houses, old houses, and they paid them like $300,000, $400,000 because they were looking for the location. Okay, a lot of black community, a lot of black families make money. They made money out of selling those houses, and they end up moving to Port St. Lucie, where they bought a bigger house and more comfortable, better for them life.
Yeah, the American
dream. But you know what is built today in those little houses? They build
high towers.
Towers of
Yeah.
apartments where the prices are over 1 million and up each apartment. So okay, that was a right thing to do the thing, because they bought the houses in the right price with the right amount.
Yeah, but
what they're
this is
doing
fraud.
to Atlanta today,
It's fraud.
those houses are close to the dome, to the Golden Dome. You can walk from those houses
To the stadium.
to the stadium. You can go to the Dome, and there is a lot of poor people living in that area, and all these things happening. And that's when I ask myself, why? Who's benefiting from this? You're gonna see later on, they're gonna start building houses, apartments. They're gonna start bringing people who are tired of driving from Smyrna to downtown, or from Marietta to downtown. Those people who live in the suburb, some of them are gonna get tired of driving so far, and they're gonna start moving in, buying those houses. Or those
It's like I was saying here with everything, follow the money.
Follow the money. That's
Bingo.
right. Bingo.
And Carlos is
but
gonna
let me
say that later on.
let me tell you something. During the investigation during this week, the FBI already made an arrest. It's under the summary, but they already made arrest of 6 persons that were paying Haitians to be into the riots and do the dirty work.
Destruction
Okay,
part.
the destruction part. Okay,
And
4
why
of them.
Haitian? And why Haitian? So they can blend in.
Yeah.
But they are not Americans. They are not. When I'm saying American, what trying to say is they are not Black American who grew up in the neighborhood. That they take care of their neighborhood. They care about the community.
They went with they marched with Martin Luther King. No,
We are
these
not
people
talking about them.
we are not talking
They
about
are
them.
They are not the ones who are
Okay,
destroying this
we
community.
are talking about people from Jamaica, from Haiti.
Haiti.
You're talking about paid terrorists.
Paid terrorists. Okay, four of the people who is already with the
In custody.
in custody, okay, are Muslims, Islamics, and 2 Venezuelans. And now you have the connection, okay, because these people arrested has ties with Hamas, and Hamas is the arm of Iran. And this is the new. This is the point. In Cabo Verde during this week, a guy named Alex Saab was arrested by the authorities of Cabo Verde because the U.S. government, the federal government, had him under the list of people that are solicited by the U.S. government as drug dealers. Okay, but this guy Alex Saab is the financier and the bridge between the Venezuelan government and Iran
When it comes to drugs.
and everything.
Okay.
Everything. Remember what they say us in the forum of security of the
Yeah.
Western Hemisphere that everything, money laundering, drugs,
Human trafficking.
everything is
Pedophile.
it's financing. It's financing, and the network is managed by people such as Alex Saab. Alex Saab is not only arrested. A C-117 it's a cargo plane of the United States went to the Cabo Verde island with troops, and he's already on custody of the U.S. authorities. There is a procedure of extradition because Cabo Verde doesn't have an agreement with the United States, extradition agreement, but they are right now negotiating that. But the plane is over there, the troops are over there, and Alex Saab is already under custody of the U.S. authorities, and he's coming over here. Okay, he is the guy who managed the financial part of the relationship between Venezuela and Iran. Cabo Verde was just a step over because planes doesn't have enough fuel to go all the way from Tehran to Caracas. He was captured already. And he will sing like Pavarotti, let me tell you. He will sing.
He's going to sing like a McCain.
Oh, more than the Canary, yes.
More than the Canary.
More than the Canary. So, the people of Cabo Verde call Uber or Lyft.
Oh yeah, they're giving a Lyft service.
and the U.S. government already has a very, very good success on this matter. Why? Because the U.S. government is doing the right job now.
So what you're saying, Carlos, is let me see if I understood.
Mm-hmm.
What you're saying is the money that these people were paying to the Haitian and to the Africans over there in Miami, they're giving them money to the Haitian, right? Or
yes.
any black person who were taking money to go to Ohio, Chicago, Minnesota. That money that they were distributing is that money come from that guy? From Alex Saab?
From Iran. And do you know, follow the money. Do you know where this money comes from?
I think Obama sent it over to him.
Yes, bingo.
There's the $400 million cash that he sent in the airplane?
Yes.
But okay, it's not enough money with the drugs that they're doing and they're selling in Europe, but they also need the money from us. I mean, we are paying our own destruction? That's what Obama just did? That's what you say, David?
Yes.
David, you're genius.
Well, that's why he's the boss and he's a legend.
Oh my Lord!
That's why he's the owner of this radio station and not me.
Look, I'm just trying to get around my head around Alex Saab. Okay? I'm just trying to get around with the concept and what he's doing against United States. But David, you just hit the pad.
And
you just hit it.
And we will follow the money after these messages.
My name is Kyle Hayes, a motorsports student at Alfred State College. Every year, Alfred State students compete in the Great Race, which is a cross-country time endurance rally for vintage vehicles. As you can imagine, it's pretty costly. I'm asking for your help. Your donation can make it possible for these students to live their passion and promote the vintage automobile industry. Please visit our site at give.alfredstate.edu and search Great Race to learn more and help us reach our goal. Thank you.
Perhaps you are struggling to cope with the disease of addiction. If not, you probably know a family member or friend that needs help in battling the cravings and the personal and professional damage done by the effects of drugs or alcohol. Get a pen and paper and be ready to write down the following. These are the issues that the trained staff at the Atlanta Healing Center address and treat every day. Their doctors and counselors with over 40 years of practice in the field of addiction can treat the suffering individual in a thoughtful, compassionate, and experienced manner and guide him or her along the path to recovery. So call 770-696-9862 and speak to a knowledgeable staff member about how you or your loved one can be helped to enjoy a better and healthier life. More information is also available on the website at www.atlantahealingcenter.com.
You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening. You're listening to America's Web Radio on the AmericasBroadcastNetwork.com. Thank you for listening.
And this is
Let's Talk Venezuelan.
in American West Radio.
In American
I don't know if you guys noticed, but Carlos is a little jumpy today. I don't know.
Yes,
Did you eat? Did you drink something?
I'm happy.
You're
Let me tell
happy?
you, I'm happy because there are a lot of developments, and that we will talk about
I am
later.
not happy. I am very, you say, I am like upset. I am enraged because
But
I
you ca-
see this movie before.
with different actors.
With different actors today. It's like, what was the word that we were talking, David?
Deja vu all over again.
Yes,
That's right.
That's right.
It's the same script, the same tactics, the same strategies implemented in the United States, but only different actors in another language.
and this is something that has to do with the next thing that we
Subject.
that we are when we have the Antifas,
Uh-huh.
and we had at U.S. Congress a very serious discussion about the Antifas and the fund the police departments in the United States. Okay,
You gonna say something, David?
I just go back to what I said earlier, that none of it just happened. This has been planned for years
Bingo.
and years
Bingo.
and years.
Yes.
And somebody's giving the orders and somebody's carrying them out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's even with, we had, I don't know if y'all were affected this past, I guess it was Friday, that the telephones all went down in the
Yes.
southeast.
That was Monday.
that was
It
Monday.
was Monday?
Monday.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. So look at what happened with that. I mean, it was like chaos, you know.
Mhm.
It didn't just happen. Nothing just like one of the colonels that works with us here, a retired colonel.
Mm-hmm.
He always says, there's no coincidence.
No.
No.
Not at
Everything
all.
is one step on a.
One-
Okay, for example, do you know what are the three functions at the government?
Why the government exists? Why the state exists?
Well, the government is to protect the citizens.
Mm-hmm.
They are to furnish the interior roads and highways and
Mhm.
all of that stuff,
Mhm.
and water and sewer and all of this.
Okay.
And then external protection from the military.
Bingo.
So we call it like this: the government's function is first provide security.
No. First, justice.
I mean, I'm not going like that.
No, but the first thing, what we just talk about the biblical function of government by God. What they say.
Yes, because United States was founded by the Judeo-Christian values. All right. So we follow and we go back to the Bible. God, when He created created
Organized.
Israel or organized Israel, He didn't give them kings. He didn't give them
Government.
presidents. He didn't give them government. What He gave them was judges, and prophets. That's it. And then later on, the people came with ideas and we want a king, and then you follow the rest of the story. But there is three functions in America. The government, the right government functions are three. First,
Justice.
implementation of justice.
So-
That comes with courts, department, the Department of Justice and all that.
Yeah,
The
but-
second, hold on,
but
let me
no.
finish with this. Hold on, Carlos. The second function is security. Implementation of the security of the nation, like border, protection of the nation. And the third one is the
Public works.
construction and maintenance of
Public works.
infrastructure.
Mhm.
Right, like you say, bridges, street, and da.
But let's talk about specifically
The first one.
the function of police. The function of police is law enforcement.
Mm-hmm.
So the police departments are not just somebody that you made a contract because you want him to have a badge and a gun to protect you. Nuh-uh. They are officers of the court,
Mm-hmm.
and they must be treated as officers of the law.
Mm-hmm.
So what happens? I just said this. We need this guy to be catch, or what's going on with this situation, and it's the police department, the first responders on that situation. So defund police departments is defund our justice system.
Yeah.
Basically. And what happens if you defund our justice system?
Is not one of the branches of our government? Is not that the legislative branch, the judicial branch, and the executive branch?
So if you say, no, I don't want to have police. No, you have to police because it's the law enforcement branch. They belong to the judiciary branch of the government, and they have to be respected, such as Blue Life Matters. These guys stand on the street and they die as flies every week of the year. We have a lot of police departments heroes that are given their life, and they have families, and they have mortgages, and they have a life, and they are given their life for all of us. So the first thing is to think, okay, what is the real problem with all this mess? You named it the last week is policies and procedures.
You see, the justice, the law enforcement start from the bottom and it moves off to the top, right? The cities are in control. The mayor is in control of the police department.
That's wrong.
You know, that's wrong.
That's the first.
The sheriff and the mayor have to work together. Okay, and then from there, you know, you have the state level, and then you got the federal level. So, in the local level, when the sheriff department, the police department, the sheriff and the police department are under the control of Democrats, which we need to understand the Democrat Party is gone a long time ago. They are not Democrats anymore, what they used to be. They are being hijacked, and they are being taken over by communists, by Islamists, anarchists, and all this group who hate United States of America. Period.
And they want to destroy the judiciary. That if you don't have justice, such as happened in Venezuela, the first thing that the communists destroyed was the justice branch. Okay, because without justice there is no peace. Without justice there is nothing. Because if everybody is doing what they pleased without respecting contracts, the social contract with the society and the contracts between individuals were nothing. And that's the real danger when you said defund police.
Okay, the executive branch it was already attacked for 2 years. You know that with the
since the beginning
with impeachment hoax.
Mm-hmm.
The executive branch already under attack. They couldn't do nothing with that. Look, the president's still in the White House. He's still doing what he's doing. Okay, now they are moving into the branch the judiciary branch. How? They're attacking the police department now, locally. Okay, why this kind of problem that Atlanta is experiencing, Minnesota is experiencing when it comes to the police, right? Why in cities who are under the control of Constitution, Republican, why is not happening in those? Because it comes down to what? Policies and procedures, internal policies and procedures. For example, if you know the law, the government put a law 3 weeks ago. The curfews, that's an implementation,
Mm-hmm.
You know, emergency implementation, curfew.
Yes, curfews.
Okay, curfew laws. Why you're gonna have your children driving after the curfew is implemented, trying to get something to eat, and disrespecting the law? And then you blame Listen,
the police department.
You blame the police department by doing the job that they're supposed to be doing, and then on top of that, you end up firing those people who are implementing
that they're just doing their job.
The policies and procedures that they implemented in the department. You follow what I mean? So they are not. What they're doing is they're playing politics.
And let's give an example of what happened in the U.S. Congress with Representative Hank Johnson when he described what happened on the night where Mr. was
here in Wendy's.
Here the events in Wendy's.
Rashad, no?
Yes.
Rashad.
And I also want to extend my deepest condolences to the wife of Rayshard Brooks, who lost her husband this week. I hope that you won't feel offended that I mentioned Rayshard Brooks' wife. As I mentioned, our colleagues here in Congress, we're all equal. His wife and his 3 little baby daughters and his 13-year-old stepson will miss him. He was taken away from us on Friday night. You know, he had committed the offense of being caught in a car in a drive-through line asleep behind the wheel. I don't know what kind of a day he had, but the police thought he was drinking. So they called the police in. They called the police who arrived at the scene and tapped on his window and woke him up and told him to go park in the parking space and sleep it off. And then he thought to himself as he was walking back to the car, what am I going to do with this guy? And so he made the decision, I'm going to call in the DUI task force. And so the DUI task force arrived about 10 minutes later, and over the next 30 minutes, they administered one field sobriety test after another. And guess what? Rayshard Brooks passed each and every one of them. The stupid heel-toe test. Nobody walks putting one heel in front of the other. People lose their balance all the time who are not under the influence of anything because they have balance issues. Not Mr. Rayshard Brooks, no balance issues. Perfectly did that, did the nystagmus test, did all of the other things that the officer wanted to do. Turn around, shake your booty with your eyes closed, all kinds of crazy tests that they administered over the next 30 minutes, wearing on Mr. Brooks's patience, just messing with him out there on Friday night.
Messing.
And finally, the officer pulled out his inherently unreliable field breath test and told him to blow into it. And he blew into it. He had done everything else they told him to do. He blew into it and he blew a .10, just a little bit over the limit. And so, boom, they decided to do what they wanted to do at the very beginning, which is arrest this black man. And he resisted and ran away and got shot in the back twice. And this is what we are here to talk about today. This is not about Antifa. There is no such thing as Antifa other than those who oppose right-wing, white power militias, nationalist groups. People who oppose them in the streets are called Antifa. This is nothing more than a figment of Donald Trump's imagination and those of his willing and complicit followers. So we're not here to talk about Antifa. We're not here to talk about violence, rioting, and looting. We're not here to talk about defunding the police. We're not here to talk about Chaz in Seattle. We're not here to talk about abortion. We're not here to talk about the impeachment hoax. We're not even here, ladies and gentlemen, to talk about Benghazi or Hillary Clinton's emails. We're going to hear that before the day is over. We're here to talk about the George Floyd legislation Justice and Policing Act that we are considering here today. That's what we're here to talk about. And my friends, Mr. Brooks needed a guardian the other night. He did not need a warrior. Instead, warriors showed up, took him down, took him out. And it's time out for warrior training and time out for warrior duty by cops who will use unnecessary and deadly force with a trigger finger, with a trigger mentality, roaming the streets of our cities, towns, and villages in this country. It's time out for that. This is what the George Floyd Justice and Policing Act gets at, these common sense measures. And so I'd ask that we stop the nonsense and get down to the business at hand, and that is to pass this legislation through this committee. And with that, I yield back.
The gentleman yields back. For what purpose does the
Yes, sir. How are you?
gentleman from Louisiana seek recognition?
So, as you hear this,
So do you see something? Do you hear something very interesting?
well,
He missed the most important part. That this guy disarmed a police officer, and he used the taser against the police officer.
and he checked the police officer.
Yes,
and then the other police officer who was not checked is the one who responded. Okay?
Okay.
The situation is this. This guy is Hen Johnson. He's the guy who I am running against.
Yes.
What it makes me upset about his situation now, he's coming with this attitude, and he forgotten that he was in court as a judge.
He was a
before,
judge.
okay?
Exactly.
He was a judge before. He said it that for little less of evidence, he used to put people in jail. His own people, he used to send them to jail.
He just black
used
people.
He
Yes.
used the police department to
With-
put innocent people in jail.
Yes.
Okay.
And now he's criticizing the policies and
the policies and procedures of the department, using it in his beneficial political gain.
Bingo.
Okay. I'm not saying that we have to wait for the investigation results to come out.
Everybody saw that.
Okay. But come on, man. Are you reading some paper from somebody is giving you and you are not realizing what you are saying? Or you are just plain evil to play with the black the black community minds, telling them they are playing you, they are provoking you.
Antifa doesn't exist.
Antifa doesn't exist. Come on, go to Facebook. There is here in Georgia, in Atlanta. It says Atlanta Antifa. They declare themselves they are Antifa. You go to Dahlonega, there is Dahlonega Antifa. You go to any
It's
city,
a network.
It's a network, and they call themselves Antifa. And then when you go to the foundation, the Southern Poverty Foundation, they defend Antifa. They declare any group who are Jew and Christian, they declare us as a terrorist group. They declare us a hate group. But they do not have in their list of 34 organizations that they have listed, which are Jewish and Christian, but they don't have non-Muslim listed in that list. They don't have Antifa listed in that list. They don't even list the training camp of militias from, no militias, the training camp, Muslim training camp that we have here in Georgia, in Arizona. They don't even list them in that list.
They say nothing about that.
They say nothing. And then when you look underneath of the Southern Poverty
Law Center,
who is in charge of that? Muslims. Muslims are in charge of that.
Well, let's say another good. Now there is a good news.
What is the good news?
Because we're almost closing the program. Johsie has a tour of Fourth. The tour of Fourth is a tour with bikers and trucks around the 4th district, congressional district, on 4th of July. Because all cities, because of the pandemia, because this was planning. No
pandemia. This is not pandemia.
This is not pandemia. This is the pandemia. Okay.
For the Democrats.
Yes. they suspend all the events for the July 4th.
Look, they even took us away from us the celebration of the birth of United States. What's going on? Look how we are up to the point that we are not even celebrating the birth
of this nation.
Birthday of this nation, because pandemia, and Antifa and all that. You know what? We're gonna do a bold movement. My candidacy is doing a bold movement. Bold. You know, I'm gonna take it all the way to people who really wants to celebrate the birth of United States. If you are a Republican, come join us. You are a Democrat, you want to come join us. You are a patriot, come join us. You are a person who loves the Constitution and want to defend our country, come join us. This is going to be a tour around my district. I'm going to show all these politicians what we have to do in time of crisis and what we have to stand for. Unite. And I got the support of all these people who are Americans, who love our country, and who want to put their life to defend our nation.
And do you know who confirmed to be on the tour?
Who?
Our dear Mr. Armendariz.
Mr. Armendariz is gonna be in the tour.
On point.
Yes. And who will promote also the tour?
We will. Certainly.
Thank you.
Yes, and we do have prominent political figures who are working to bring back what we used to be as American, the great American. We're gonna celebrate that day. Any Antifa wanna come? You come and see if you're gonna start up some things. You're gonna have an answer, because we are not playing. You think that we're going to be hiding behind. No. You think that we're going to go and hide because we are scared of Antifa or all this movement. No, honey. Look, the situation is this, David. We, as a nation, we have 150 years of peace inside the United States. And people got used to that idea. Yes or no? Internal peace.
Yes. I was just listening to... who would believe anybody that would say Guam is sinking? And there you have Hank Johnson talking about something that he doesn't know about to begin with. And then on top of it, he's also the representative that said Guam was sinking.
And you just heard how he bent the truth.
Oh,
he didn't mention that the victim took a stun gun from the police, and he used the stun gun against the police, okay? And he didn't mention that at Congress.
But also, he didn't mention that these police officers were following policies and procedures when it comes to somebody driving and drunk.
And he says just above the legal...
a little bit. He's drunk.
He's drunk, period.
Why he's minimizing or making it, they are messing with us. It's the mentality of put more fire in the black community. And if we keep on going this way, it's not only that we're going to lose the black community in a continuous genocide, but we're going to lose the state, we're going to lose the country, and there is no other place that we're going to go, because there is no other place like United States. And this is something that Americans need to understand. The Republican Party need to understand. This is a time of fighting back. The 150 years of peace is over. It's over. Now we need to get used to be vigilant and fighting back,
and we
in
have
the political level, in the platform, fighting back the Antifa, fighting back the Muslim, fighting back the anarchists. We need to fight back with message. We cannot be quiet. How come the Republican Party is being quiet during these 3 weeks about George Floyd death? How come the Republican Party is being quiet about the death of this Rashad here in Atlanta? Why are they not talking and coming up and say, we are American, we need to unite? Where are the Republican Party? Where are the Democrats? No, they're quiet. They are quiet. Oh, let them kill themselves. We are here. We're waiting until somebody else survives, and then we're going to come and we're going to command them what to do. Honey, I am seeing exactly what happened in Venezuela is happening here.
Yes, and to finish, we need to bring the big stick again, because unfortunately, these people, the only language that really, really understand is. Okay? Well, it's
2 o'clock.
It's 2 o'clock.
See you next week. Thank you so much, David.
Thank you.
And we're back with Let's Talk Venezuelan in Spanish.
Hablemos